and we are recording right now. Cool. All right. What's up, everybody? My name is Juwan Rohan, and this is the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. I'm sitting here with Royal Banks, a guy just trying to build some things. We got a military guy over here. How's it going, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I really literally cannot complain. I woke up and ate some strawberries and some dates and drank some water, and I'm just a happy man.
Living that healthy life, I see. That's good.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
Yeah, man, for real. No, it's beautiful. How's the weather in Texas? It's nice out here in California.
Dude, it's since I moved here, it's been 75 to 80 degrees every single day with blue skies.
Oh wow. Oh
Every
wow.
day.
When did you
Yeah,
move
man.
there?
So about 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh
So
shit,
it's just been
fresh.
that
Yeah.
same, yeah, just moved into the house. I closed on the house about 3 weeks ago, moved in 2.5 weeks ago. So yeah.
Congrats on closing on the house. Let's go ahead and just talk about that real quick because that's a huge process, and
Sure.
especially right after Corona,
Yeah.
and we're in like the hottest market ever right now. So
Oh
how
my gosh.
how
Yeah.
was that
Yeah.
process?
Yeah.
Like, was it competitive, like pricing wise?
Yes. Yes. So here I will say that, being military, man, the VA loan is so clutch. The VA loan, to anybody who does not know what it is, essentially a guaranteed loan for military, active duty military service members, reservists, or I think retired people can use it as well. And it guarantees you a loan up to, don't quote me on the numbers, like up to 400 grand, $435,000, depending on where you're at. And so that made it easy. But the market, I just think across the entire United States is
Yeah,
hyper competitive.
yeah,
You just got your real estate license, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you studying markets, you're studying where you're at. Dude, a house would come on the market and it would have an offer on it within 20 minutes. Like, no lie.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
lie.
it,
It
it'll
was it
have
was
a it'll have
difficult.
an offer on it before it even hits the market.
But yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
It's wild. It's wild. So
the
I basically had to offer above the asking price.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how was the bidding war? Like, how much did you end up offering, or did they settle above asking price? Because yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So last week was my first week as a real estate realtor. I started my job last week, and two of the people had already asked, like on my first day of the job, like, so like the market's super competitive, right? Like, what should we offer? Like, obviously it should be
Yeah.
above asking price, and like, you know what I mean, they were asking these questions. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, it's really competitive.
It is, man. Like, I think the house we were going for, full transparency. Of course, I'm not going to give the address, but like it was going for
Yeah.
185 or something, or 187 or
God
something like that. And
damn,
I was
that
like,
sounds so good.
yeah, it sounds great,
Dude,
doesn't it?
I'm in the Bay, so
Right.
so
Yeah.
175. I was just at a shithole house that was. I wish I could show this picture on here, but
Yeah.
literally the house was like 80s. Like, it had like a 50s
Yeah.
oven in it still. Like, it was
Mhm.
ridiculous, and it
In
was
the
listed.
wall somewhere, in the oven in the wall or something like that.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
1.4 mil. 1.4 mil.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's disgusting.
Welcome to the
That's
Bay.
disgusting. No,
That is
yeah, no,
that's
I'm good on that. No, we essentially had to offer over asking. I'm sitting there like, I will go once again in real estate. I own property in Fayetteville, North Carolina. That was where I was last stationed at, in Fort
uh-huh.
Bragg. Military guy. Try to guess how much I paid for a house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a ranch style house, brick home in a C+ neighborhood. Guess how much I paid for it in 2018?
85.
Damn, you close. $75,000. I bought it for
Uh, I,
75,000.
so I was gonna go 75. I was gonna go like 70, and then I was like, he probably paid a little bit over, but I don't know. So damn.
Yeah, no, 75, man, 75, and that thing is I'm written it out and it's cash flowing and it's been great so far. Like, what I'm saying, I
Yeah,
love it. So,
yeah. So that's good to know you didn't sell that. How much equity do you have in the house now?
man, I think I'm at like the 24%. No, like I'm at like 19% equity. I came in, I did a down payment of 5% with that one, and I've just been paying it since then. So I think I'm like 17 or 18% equity, and I'm not even a full 20% yet
You didn't use
right
the
now.
VA loan?
I did not. I did a conventional loan for that one. I don't know why I did that. I wanted to use a VA loan back then for a multifamily, but I couldn't
Okay.
get to a multifamily. So I just used, I had, it was what, 2017. I sold my old Honda Accord. I had some savings from when I went to Iraq. I sold some Bitcoin, and that's how I used my down payment for that house. I had some Bitcoin and some Litecoin and Ethereum,
There you
sold all
go.
that, sold my own Honda, and just made it happen. You know what I'm saying? Back
Yeah,
then. So
that's cool.
yeah, it worked out. Yeah.
Man, I love real estate. We could talk about real estate all day on the podcast, as you know.
Yeah, for
But
sure, man.
that's cool, man. You know, the East Coast is like investing in the East Coast is so different than investing out here. It's
Mm,
like
mm.
just the market scene, what you can get, the style. I'm just learning so much going through the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It is, man. It's. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional investor or anything like that. I only have two properties, and the one that I'm living in now. The other one is a mobile home, which we can talk about that if you want to too. But yeah, it is, man. The West Coast is just is wild, super competitive, very expensive. A lot of folks, they're going to either the South or the Midwest. You can still buy properties in Cleveland, in Indianapolis or whatever for, I don't know, $40,000-$50,000. Some places in Memphis, you can buy them for like super cheap, out there, and cash flow pretty well. But yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, yeah, you're 100%. What let's talk about that mobile home. Where's it at? How'd you even get
Sure.
into it? Because we haven't had a person on here talk about mobile homes yet.
Yeah, for sure, man. Absolutely. So I was on Twitter one day. I don't know who posted it. I was following somebody. This is 2019, I believe. And I saw somebody just like, hey, we're renovating this mobile home. We're gonna put a renter in it. I'm like, what? You can do that? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know, I didn't know. So I just started Googling, and I came across the Mobile Home Elite Investors. So shout out to them. They co-own three or four parks now, I believe. They have a great course. No, this is not a plug or anything like that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I'm speaking on
Uh-huh.
the quality of their content that they have. So anybody check out the Mobile Home Elite Investors on YouTube. Check out their course. So I went into crazy research mode, man. Just wow. I was like, you can buy a mobile home for X amount of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
freaking put a renter in it, and they will pay the rent. And that's exactly what I did. I basically went on Facebook Marketplace in the area. I found a lady that was selling a mobile home. She wanted $2,500 for it, I believe. That's it.
That's crazy.
That's
That is
it. Yeah, and it was in solid condition. It was in good condition, like livable condition already. So I bought it. I took out something called a TSP loan, which is the military version of a 401k loan, essentially.
okay.
I took out 10 grand or whatever, and I was like, all right, I'll just use this and whatever. All right, so
Yeah.
bought the home in cash. Easy. It's not as difficult as buying a house,
Yeah.
because a mobile home is essentially considered a vehicle. It's a title exchange, essentially.
Yeah.
So there is no deed unless that mobile home is on land. There is a deed exchange on that one, but it's like buying a car, dude. Like
Yeah.
buying a car in a private deal. You take it to the DMV, get the damn title signed off. You got it. You own it now.
That's crazy.
And I will admit, I put too much money into the mobile home. I put about 8 grand into it. So even still, all in for $11,000.
That's really good.
That was the first deal. Did too much to it.
Well, how
Yeah,
much is
still
rent?
very good. All in,
How
and
much is your rent?
it's the rent right now is sure. Yeah, the rent is $650. So what you do is when you rent out a mobile home, you sell it on terms essentially. You are financing that mobile home. So the difference is between renting is you when you rent it out, you're charging that fee and you're responsible for maintenance. When you sell it on terms, you're essentially financing. Just like when you buy a car from somebody, right? You're not renting it from them, you're financing it, and you're paying the bank off over time, over a term, 5 years, 4 years, 7 years, whatever. And who's responsible for that maintenance on that car when you buy it? Who is
Yeah.
it? You, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how it is with the mobile home. All right. I have it in the lease here. Hey, you are buying it on terms. You are financing it for 60 months. You will pay me and a set amount of $365 a month plus the lot rent. I pay that lot rent to the park because I am the leaseholder on that lot to the park. And they're responsible for their own maintenance, and they agreed to that. And they've been paying me $650 a month in rent since January of 2020, essentially.
So
And
that's almost
yeah.
a year and a half. I'm gonna do some
Mm-hmm.
quick math real quick. He said
Yep.
650 is rent.
650.
So when you hit 18 months, you would have 11,700, and
That's correct.
you'd make your all your investments back
Yeah.
within a year and a
Yeah.
half. That's a
Yeah.
really good deal. So,
Yeah.
have you ever thought about expanding mobile home? Like,
Yeah. And yes. This leads into, so I had a whole adventure with it, and it was great. I only have one right now. I wholesaled another, and I was working
that's a
on,
whole different
yeah,
conversation. I didn't know that.
yeah, man. Yeah, you can wholesale them, you can flip them. I mean, people do all types of stuff. It's deep, man. The mobile home thing is deep. Like I said, please check out the mobile home elite investors. I mean, those they're legit like millionaires now. Like when they started, I don't think they weren't, and now they are. It's like they're crushing it.
I'm gonna look them up right now.
So yes, yeah, absolutely. Byron Sellers and Charnice Williams. Definitely look them up. I think they were on. One of them was on. They were on EYL not long ago. They were on your leisure. But yeah, man, I've thought about expanding into it. I'm military. You move to different markets a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the market I moved to, they were trying to hit me over the head with these mobile home prices. There's one lady, I put out a bandit sign outside of a park. This one lady called me. She was like, "Hey, I'm trying to sell a mobile home for $50,000 cash." I'm like, "Lady, like I said, you have." I was like, "Hold on now, hold on." You got mobile homes in parks. You have mobile homes in parks, right? Where the park owns the land, okay, and then you have mobile homes on their own land. The key thing is, mobile homes lose value. The homes aren't worth anything. Okay. So some people, they use some of these big mobile home companies, Clayton Homes, et cetera. They buy them and finance them out. Right. And then they think that they pay it off. It's not, just like a car. Right. If you buy a car for 50 grand, it's probably not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth 50 grand when you sell it. It's not, or try to. So the mobile homes in parks are not going to hold their value, as opposed to the ones on land, because guess what? The land is holding the value. It's the land. It's not the mobile home, not the manufactured home.
Yep.
So they were trying to hit me over in that area where I was in Virginia, like south of Richmond. They were like, "Yeah, man, I want 30,000. I want $70,000 cash." I'm like, "What? Like, no, man, I am not. No, even trying to wholesale the spread, it wouldn't have been worth it." And that essentially, I was like, okay, I had to pivot, and that leads actually into the current business that I'm working on. It actually has a link. When we want to get into that. But yeah, man, it's something that I encourage everyone to look at. It's interesting. It's a fun thing.
That's dope. So have you found it more fun to be invested in mobile homes? And I'm talking about going through the process, fixing it up or adding, that renovation on it. Is it more fun for you in mobile homes or real estate?
Man, that's a good question. I think it's more fun with a mobile home. It's more like it's not cheaper.
Yeah.
It is cheaper, man.
Yeah.
Mobile home, contracting out those things and adding, painting stuff it's a lot cheaper because it's a mobile home. Buying a door for a mobile home is different from buying a door and installing a door on a stick-built standard house. It is. The cost is less. You just have to find the right contractor or the right handyman that knows how to deal with mobile homes, and they won't try to charge you an arm and a leg.
They won't. That's the point, is trying to find a contractor that won't charge you what they charge for an actual house. And what I've heard is finding like that handyman or what are those apps. You go on one of those apps, TaskRabbit, and you got one of those people.
Yeah. You got TaskRabbit. You got where's my phone? I got Thumbtack.
Oh yeah, Thumbtack. Yeah.
Thumbtack. And that's, what I'm saying, like you can do that. You just have to that's the reason why I probably paid $8,000 in fixing up the damn. I didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
I could have bought it for $2,500 and then put it on the market for $5,000 the very next day and just sold it like that. I could have done that.
Easy.
Yeah, but I wanted that like rental income. I wanted that, and I got some good tenants in there, and all this aside from all that, the big key is empathy, man. Empathy. When you bring in a good tenant, I have good tenants in the home. Coronavirus hit 2 months after they moved in. Okay, they cannot control that. I cannot control that. They are great tenants, but of lower income. Okay. And you have to work with people in there. So regardless of the building, the construction, the purchasing, the title exchange, the ease of it, you still have to get human beings in there, and you have to screen them well, and you have to be empathetic when times are a little rough with folks at times. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
And that's interesting too to note is that you literally started this 2 months before the pandemic hit, and look, you're still going strong. Have they missed a payment?
Yeah. So what I work with them, man. I'm like, hey, like they're like at one point in time, the only the husband was working, the wife was not working.
Yeah.
And so she's like, hey, we only got one income. Roger, all right, track it, and they pay the rent. They communicate. That's the thing I appreciated about her. She communicates.
Yeah.
Hey, letting 2 weeks, these things are going to change at my husband's job. So yada, yada, yada. Can you work with me? Sure, absolutely. And so I work with her, and we develop that relationship. That's good. Through communication. By the way, I don't have a property manager for this. I am the property manager.
I don't think you need one for a mobile home. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Not for a mobile home.
Not for a mobile. If you set up your lease right and they do their own repairs, you don't need one. But I mean,
maybe if you have a lot, multiple, and you just the stress.
If you have a park, you want a park manager, absolutely.
For sure.
But like, just work. They'll they say, hey, we're not going to have this amount. Can we? I broke it down to where, hey, you can pay me weekly. If you can't pay $650 at one point in time, at one time during the month, pay me weekly, and they'll just pay me weekly. And because it works out, because he gets paid weekly, it works out better for them. And whatever works out. Hey, Christmas time comes, it's hard, man. It's a pandemic. It's Christmas. I'm not trying to reveal too much of their business, but you got a child, you got a newborn. It's hard. Take Christmas off. You got it. You're good.
Yeah.
Because there is no mortgage on that property.
Yeah, it's already, it's just straight cash flow for you. Look at that. That's crazy. Straight cash flow. It's like a paid down property. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, it's a TSP loan, right? Yeah. But I'm paying the TSP loan back out of my own salary, and I don't even miss it. Yeah. So it's like, there is no mortgage.
And is there interest on the TSP loan?
It's very little. I think when I took it out, it was 1% interest.
God damn. Okay, cool. That's like zero. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. Yeah, man. It's like I think, and now at one point in time, it was like 0.85 interest, percent interest on things.
Yeah,
like,
I can see that.
And you're paying yourself back. You know, so I don't. Now my house, that's a different story.
The North Carolina one.
The house, the house in North Carolina, they're in the same state now. The mobile home, it's cool. And you don't have, it's cool because I don't own nobody. You know what I'm saying? I got the cash flow sitting there, so it's cool. The house that has a mortgage on it, I have a property manager for that. I've never spoken to the tenants before, and they pay on time every single month. I know. That's a different story. I like.
Hey. Well, that's the difference. You got a house versus a mobile home, but. Well,
absolutely.
Shit. Yeah, we covered a lot about the real estate and mobile home. That's good. Another investment tool is stocks, and you mentioned Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, how heavily invested are you in those and the new stuff?
Man, I tell you what, man. I got into the Bitcoin hype in 2018. I bought some. Nothing crazy. I haven't hodled it or hold on.
Nothing crazy. It was like $300 back then. Like that's still.
Yeah, it was, man. Yeah, man.
Even if you buy one.
Yeah, it was. I think one Bitcoin at one point in time. I think at that time in 2018, it had to have been like $5,000 or something like that, something crazy. And now it's what, $61,000 right now.
Yeah.
So I'm, my plan. I was in Iraq when I was deployed to Iraq in 2016, 2017. Look, man, it's like when you do your job, like, I'm not infantry. I was a logistics guy. Okay, I wasn't out there shooting things or going out there on missions like that.
Yeah.
Okay. It was all mental work. So when you're in your little container thing, you have nothing but time to just think and plan. You're making all this money as tax-free money as a lieutenant, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, all right, this is how I want my portfolio to be. I want it to be 90% stocks, 10% cryptocurrency at that time. So I, came back home and I was investing while I was in Iraq. And I did. I had about, I think, 5 to 10% of crypto in my portfolio at the time. I sold all of it basically to put the down payment on the house that I bought in North Carolina. That's what I did.
Okay.
Who would have known that Bitcoin would have surged to 40, 50, 60?
Yeah.
I don't have it, but I still have.
I was going to say, I hope you still have your Ethereum because that's next.
Oh yeah, man. I still got the stocks.
Yeah. I got to get in there. I haven't bought one yet, but my homie's been buying Ethereum like crazy. So
it's a long, so stocks, man, you see it on the timeline. You see people chase tickers. I've done it before. I've chased tickers and IPOs and all that stuff. Look, man, me personally, if you never heard of it, the Motley Fool. Okay. I am a capital F foolish investor. Okay?
Yeah.
So like I buy good companies. My first investment ever was 2014 was Apple. And I had a friend at military training school. He was like, yo, have you ever heard of investing? And I'm like, yeah, I have. He's like, let me show you. This is what my dad taught me. My dad taught me how to invest. And I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like my father wasn't really even in my life to even start off with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, look how ahead you are.
Yeah.
How you can have that. But I went and learned and bought $500 worth of Apple in 2014. And I still have those shares. It was 5 shares. And now, they've gone through multiple splits or whatever. And here we are now,
multiple. But they're going through multiple splits and they're still growing as a, as a strong company and you're still making money even through the splits. Then I think Tesla is going to end up being like that as well. So.
Man, yeah, just buy into solid companies you believe in and hold on to. I mean, that's if you want to be that type of investor.
Yeah.
If you want to be, more of a risk taker and a speculator, or you want to, you want to do some flips or do some trades or options, whatever, go for it, because there are people out there, they make millions, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that do that. Go for it. That's cool. Me personally, buy and hold into solid, good companies that I believe are growing. That's me. And that's
facts.
What I've
My strategy is buy and hold for at least like 7 to 10 years. So I'm in it for the long term. Whatever company I'm buying, I'm not trying to chase the ticker and figure it out. Like a $10 difference now, 10 years from now is not going to affect me like at what price point I got in. You know what I mean?
Man. That's exactly it. Buy and hold for the long term. Just
facts. Let's go ahead and talk about your journey. We briefly touched over it, but the journey of where you're from, how you got into the military, like, who just decides to go to the military, and then logistics. That's an interesting, like that. That's super interesting. So I want to hear all about this, just your whole life story.
Sure. Yeah, man. Yeah. So originally born in San Fernando Valley, California. That's where I was born at. But I don't remember nothing about that shit because my mom moved me to Atlanta when I was 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? So grew up in Stone Mountain, Georgia. People who know about Atlanta know about that. That's outside of the perimeter, East Atlanta, in that area. Man, in ninth grade, I was going to a PTA meeting and I saw this sharply dressed kid in an Air Force Junior ROTC outfit. He saluted us as we walked in the door. I was like, yo, that shit is cool, man.
I remember as a kid that exact moment, like that exact memories at your school or whatever. So that's funny. So I was just picturing it in my head.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So did junior ROTC and, I didn't have the most amazing grades. This is another little story. 11th grade year, I had a meeting with my high school counselor. My mom was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do, bro, when you grow up? I was like, I want to be a rapper. I was like, no, you aren't. You're not. No. Right? Yeah. I was like, all right, cool. So, I got a full ride scholarship to Tuskegee University through the Army. Like the Army gave me a full ride scholarship. That school is not cheap. It's like $28,000-$30,000 a year now.
Facts. My godmom, that's what she
Got
did.
scholarship.
She used the military for college,
Dope.
and she has benefits for life. And she's in Atlanta actually. So
Yeah, man, it's major. You know, I mean, I did that. You know, graduated. I'm an officer. I mean, you had Dan Wynn on here before. He's I've been, you know, connected with him. He's a military officer. We're the same rank and all that stuff. He has a lot more experience. But yeah, man, and did the military, and now I recently changed from logistics to what is called public affairs in the Army, which is essentially it's almost the equivalent of public relations on the civilian side.
yeah.
On the civilian side. So, you know, that's essentially what I'm doing now, and I'm out here just doing my thing out here in the military and in Texas.
How long have you been in the military for?
8 years. On May 10th will be 8 years total.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it flies by.
Yeah, for real. How long do you plan on being in there?
Man, I would say, man, I don't know.
You don't think about it?
I do, man. I do. And so, like, okay, you know, my wife, okay, when you are married, there's another big thing too. When you are married, all right, you have a whole nother person to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you know, my spouse does not want to be packing up and moving around because she wants to have a career of her own. She is trying to build her own career too. And you have to be considerate.
What does she do?
She's in school to get her master's in clinical psychology. She is going to school to be a therapist. And she wants her own practice in the near future. But you can't really do that if you're bouncing around. You can't really establish roots in the community. You're bouncing around every 3 years.
Yeah.
You know? So that we'll see. We'll see what that's looking like. I've been essentially military adjacent, so either through JROTC or ROTC since I was 14 years old. So what's that? 16 years I've been military adjacent. You know, at some point in time, you got to hang up the hat. Either the Army's gonna say goodbye to you, or you say goodbye to the Army. It is what it is.
True.
But we'll see.
That's a good quote. I like that.
Yeah,
I never thought about that. I mean, shit, but it looks like you're trying to do other things, you know, with investing. That's big. And books. You're super into books and writing. That's big. And your podcast. So I mean, there's, you know, other avenues and ways to create that income, and you'll have benefits for life. So
it's wild, man. You know, being a creative too. I know there are people out there that are, you know, we got this whole movement of business going on, you know, in the Black online communities and stuff like that. You know, start a business, get an LLC, all this stuff, right? But I know there are folks out there with hidden talents. With they love to draw, they love to paint, they love to write. I put off writing this, you know, this book that I have. It's a fiction book. It is not. It has nothing to do with business or anything like that. And no shots to anybody who wrote fiction. I mean, wrote business books. You just wrote a book, and I pre-ordered it. I'm looking forward to receiving it, your book. But we all have different talents, and you know, going into writing that book, that was a story that I had in my head since I was 14 years old, and I started writing it. And my computer crashed when I was 14. And I stopped writing it until I was 29. You know, and I went on this
15 years. Difference?
Yeah, 15 years. I had that book. I had that story in my head for 15 years, and I was like, man.
What's the story? I read briefly about it on your website. What's the story?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about a guy named Jabari Brooks. It's a fiction horror story, pretty much like a thriller story, and he lives in this neighborhood, you know, with his daughter Eden, and there's these woods in his backyard that he just never really liked. Like they're just super creepy. But he'd always tell his daughter, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Don't go into those woods. It's just something about them. Yep. And one day his daughter goes into those woods and she does not come back out.
God, and, kids never listen. Kids never listen.
Kids never listen, man. You know, kids never, there's a reason why she never listened though, you know, but she goes in there, she doesn't come back, but without a trace, she disappears. And like this, there was a search for her. The police question him. They harass him. The media harasses him. But it comes out to nothing. There's no body found or anything like that. And it gives him essentially depression, anxiety, PTSD. He becomes an alcoholic. He gets divorced from his wife, and it's a downward spiral. And one day he decides, you know, I'm gonna go in there. He just never liked the woods. It's something about he never liked them. And one day he decides that he's gonna go in there. And when he goes in there, he essentially turns around and finds out that he has entered another dimension, and he can't get out. And it's essentially his journey into those woods, and it's just perpetually dark. It's always dark. There's all types of fucked up monsters and spirits in there, and his daughter is still in there, but she is a different entity now. So dealing with that, and that's the book, and I made it into an audiobook too, and it was dope as shit. So
holy shit, yo, that's like, there's so much to touch on in that book. It's not just like sci-fi horror. It's like you're talking about depression, you're talking about anxiety, then you're talking about, it's almost like taking that step as a business owner. It's almost like, I gotta go into those woods to find the truth and find some peace. And then when you fucking get there, it's like, oh, this wasn't what I thought at all. Let me keep talking because this is interesting. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It's it was a lot of fun.
Is it on Audible or is it just Audible book?
No, so I did it. So I went on this like tear, man, you know, because I'm a huge hip hop fan. So I was like, I want to do this shit independent, like completely independent.
Yeah.
I don't want Amazon's hands in my stuff or whatever, you know, messing with my money. I did it completely direct to consumer independent. So it's like on my website, you know, you can go get it, and you know, I uploaded it to this area where you can essentially buy the book directly from me, pretty much, and it distributes for me, and you get to listen to it on an audio app that is just as good as Audible. It's called BookFunnel, and I just did I did the direct to consumer route. That's what I did.
How long did it take you to do the Audible book? Because I'm trying to think if I should do one for my book.
Yeah. So what Audible
promote my book too as well on here.
Hell yeah! Money talks.
Money talks, baby. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So with Audible, what I'm tracking right now, and you know, maybe don't quote me on it, but Audible has something called ACX, Audible Creators Exchange or something like that, and it's a portal where you can go and hire narrators for your audiobook. But apparently it's so backed up right now because a lot of people during the pandemic, they realize, oh shit, I have a lot of time and I'm a creative, so let me go ahead and write all these books. And it's super backed up. What I did,
just go to Fiverr. Just go to Fiverr.
Well, yeah. So what I did, there's a guy named Antoine Bandel. He's pretty big in the independent fiction. He has his own. He's a black guy out there in LA with black and Latino and Caucasian.
What's his name?
Antoine Bandel. I'll make sure to text that to you or send it to you for sure.
Yeah.
He has his own basically audiobook agency.
Okay.
Independent. I found him through a Facebook group, and I hit him up directly, and he has actors on his team that can do the stuff, and they're black. By the way, all my characters in my book are black.
Yeah.
By the way,
that's
right. So I hired them directly, like, and they did the audiobook, and it's not just a narration, by the way. It is multiple characters, multiple actors with sound effects in the background.
Like, so that's what I need, because my book's a conversation between two kids. So yes, please connect me after.
Yes, I will.
That would be
amazing. High quality.
Man. Damn, dude, I'm so proud. That's like super dope, and I really want to. I'm gonna purchase the audio book. You got to give me. Go ahead and shout your website.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. It's wordvinepress.com. Wordvinepress.com. You can get the ebook for free, and then you can get the audiobook. Essentially, it's a link to get the audiobook, but you get the ebook for free by texting me on my superphone, which is a whole different thing. The text marketing, you can text it, and the ebook will be sent to you basically for free. You can read that for free. Short, it's 55 minutes long, but it's great, and it's creepy as shit. And I'm working on writing the second and third. It's a trilogy, so working on writing the second and third one.
How's that coming along?
Actually, I've been so focused on, so yeah, man, it's the hard part about being a creative at times. Is like you don't always have the juices in you to just keep creating. So I'm working on like building a business right now, a whole different business, and that's kind of taken my creative side away from me. So I have the first maybe 10 pages of the second book written. I just haven't had the motivation to I'm be honest with you. I haven't had motivation to get back to it.
Don't take 15 years again, man. Come on.
No, I won't. It won't be 15 years. No, for sure. It'll be at least another 6 months or a year or so. But I already know how the second book is going to go and how the whole story is going to end. Yeah.
Oh,
it won't be 15 years.
All right, for sure. Good. I was about to say, man, you got a lot. Well, things are about to start opening up now, but there was a lot of time last
Yeah,
year to for creatives, like you said. Cool.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so books. So how'd you get introduced to writing? Because like I'm gonna just say a lot of black kids don't write, right?
Yeah. Well,
I never knew about it until my adulthood. Like my dad didn't sit
yeah,
down with me and say, hey, let's write something besides music.
yeah, man. Yeah. I think so. As a child, I was always, a reader. I was a reader. I was a writer. I mean, that's why I'm into, my career profession that I'm in now. And that's essentially aligning your passion with a career. So, my stepfather, he sat me down one day in front of Microsoft Word 95, all right, and was like, "Yo, write a story. Use your imagination. Write a story about something." I was like 6 years old, and I was like, "I don't want to write a story," but I just he just had me write a story. I wrote something about an elephant or something like that, and just reading books, just reading different books, reading Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, reading shit that sparks your imagination. I wrote a play in 11th grade, and I had it actually produced and put on in my school in front of 200 people amongst other people who were in my drama. I was a drama kid, by the way,
That's
a theater kid.
crazy. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wrote a play, and that same thing, man. I wrote a play. I was 15 years old. I wrote a play, a story, very short play, and the story is heart wrenching, is gut wrenching, and the feedback from getting people walking out of the theater and like that play about that soldier was so, my God, it almost brought me to tears. And they were like, "Who wrote that?" And I'm like, "Oh, me, this 15-year-old black kid
Yeah.
wrote this story." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Shit." So that's just, I think it was just always innately in me just to write and to listen to stories and love stories and things like that. So I never, no matter what, I don't want to do is, no matter how much real estate I eventually own or a business that I build or all the investments and all that shit, that creative spark, I never want to let that go. That is me. I had to, during the coronavirus, I had to sit back and say, what do I love? What makes me? And it's not stocks. It's not real estate. It is my creativity. That's my true essence of myself, my love.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it. I love it. I agree. I feel like the investments are just a tool to enhance and expand what you love. So it's just a
Yeah.
vehicle for you to do what you love 10 years from now, even
Yeah.
more. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I love that. Have you thought or ever considered of turning these books or anything that you write into film? Because they go hand in
Yeah,
hand.
man. I have. I
Yeah.
have. I have. And I'm learning about how books are turned into films. Either if you sell the rights to it, or you keep the rights and you produce the film yourself. I would love the one that holy, I didn't give too much of the story away, but it's already produced, it's already published, so I have copyright to it. But I would love for something like that to be on Netflix. The story that I told you about, or
Yeah.
to be independently produced. Because another thing with horror and with Black people in horror, um, you have writers such as Octavia Butler, Walter Mosley has written fiction stuff as well. A lot of like Black horror as of recent too is trauma. It's like trauma porn. It's like, what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you got, I mean, some of Jordan Peele stuff is great. I'm not gonna lie, but like you got, I think the new one, Them, that's on Amazon or whatever, and it's just nothing but like just trauma, like racism and trauma porn. Can we as Black people have a damn movie or a horror story or something that's not rooted in racism? It's just Black people going through
True.
some fucked up shit. Like it's scary stuff. It's an average Black. My story is an average Black guy going through divorce and depression, and anxiety, and it's some supernatural sci-fi fiction, crazy thriller stuff. It has nothing to do with racism or
Yeah.
race or anything. Because we're people too, and we go through scary things. You
Yeah.
know. I think I went off on a tangent, but yeah, I would like to see it as a one day.
No, but I also think it's interesting that in your book, I'm gonna buy this as soon. I want to listen. But
Sure.
I also think it's super interesting that you touch, like, as a Black man, about depression and anxiety, because that's something
Yeah.
we scave away from, and like you said, we do go through average stuff, like, right, you normally think of, oh, depression, high anxiety, and a white male, right, because they're stressed out about
Yeah.
their
Yes.
corporate job, right? No, but it happens to Black people too, and I think that's something that is kind of like a
Hmm.
hidden message in here. That's super dope. Yeah, that's super dope, man. Super good. You should turn it into a film.
Yeah.
What I've been, and I think what would be great is the cheaper route too, and the more exciting route for you, is to produce the film on your budget, on
Yeah.
your time, and then get the film together and bring it to one of those networks like Netflix or something. You'll get more instead of
Yeah.
going to them with the story, beforehand. Like I think it would be fun for you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is a network of Black filmmakers and directors. I interviewed a guy on my podcast named Lex Truss, who directed a very short film called Zarina. And holy wow, it was short film, man. It's some talented folks out there that you may not just see every day because they may not be getting that shine, but these folks are grinding and making it happen for sure. So either that, I like to make it into a damn graphic novel if I can, like a comic book. Who knows?
Yeah. Damn, that's dope. Shit, that's dope, man. I love like all things like creative. Like I really didn't like books growing up. I didn't like reading. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't like the reading that the schools assigned. So I liked like books like this, right? Like one of the books that got me really into sitting down and reading where I would not fall asleep is True to the Game. Have you ever heard of that? It's a trilogy as well. And
is it an urban thriller, like an urban crime kind of thriller type thing, or
almost? It's almost. It's like about a guy named Q who he's like a big time drug dealer. He has this like nice down the ride chick, and they just go through hella shit, right? And it's who is it by? Let me see. But that and I got it from my stepdad. My stepdad put me on that, who's been in and out of prison since I was young. And it was like a prison book. Like they passed it around the prison, and then he gave it to me after he was done. And I didn't put that book down. I was like, I think I want to say in like sixth grade, maybe seventh grade. And that game or that book like made me write or want to read more books. But before that, dude,
because you could relate to the content to a degree. It wasn't Green Gables or fucking this shit, like you said, the shit they have you read in school where you're just like, I don't know these people.
I don't know these white people. Who are these white people?
It's like, well, I don't know what this is, but like, True to the Game,
True to the Game, Terry Woods,
other stuff.
Terry Woods. There's
Terry Wood.
Yeah.
Terry with an I?
Yeah. It was 2007, 2008. Oh, and the first one was 1994. Damn, she took a while to write the second one. But yeah, it's like pretty big. And then they tried to make movies and shit. I think there's like 2 movies. I didn't like the movies. The books are way better.
Okay.
But damn, I didn't know she took like almost a 13-year break. God damn. But amazing books.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, man. Like you can't force the creativity. Like that's what I'm not trying to. I wrote that book in like a month, man, the one that I did, but I had the story in my head for 15 years, but you can't force it because you're going to put out like a substandard stuff.
All the bluff and like, yeah.
you can't force it. So, but like I said, I already know how it's going to end. It's going to be wild. I've talked to my friend of 15 years, half my life. I've already told him how it's going to end. He's like, yes, please put it out. Like,
that's dope. That's dope.
Natural, ethereal stuff, man. So yeah.
That's dope, man. I'm excited. Well, I want to go ahead and move on to the Hella Misguided segment, where I ask the same question to each person who comes up here. And that question is, if you were to write a letter to yourself at age 18, what would you say?
Oh, man. There's nothing. Some of these things are not appropriate for a podcast.
Nah, this is a conversation. I just record.
Yeah, man. Dude, confidence.
Okay.
Love yourself. You are more powerful than you think. Be confident in all that you do. Be assertive. Stand up for yourself.
Where at the age of 18, were you not as confident?
No, I was not.
Why?
And there's still things that I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? Like open book. You know what I'm saying? I speak to a therapist. I mean, as we should if we're dealing with things. And And no, I was not the most, it's weird. Like I'm confident in certain areas, but in certain areas dealing with either confrontation or sometimes standing up for myself, I was not the most confident person. And those are things that I'm working on. So yeah, I would tell that to my 18-year-old self. Hey man, confidence, you are more powerful than you think you are. And you have the ability to do amazing things, and you will do. So just be confident.
Fact. I love it. I love that. I think that also just goes to, there's a few reasons. I wanted to ask that question
Sure.
and have you go into more detail, but you know, you said you didn't have a father figure around, and neither did I. So I think that really digs into our confidence as young men in high school, where things are changing rapidly. We're talking daily, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
as an 18-year-old man in, you know, not the greatest neighborhoods, you kind of need that confidence to get you through some stuff. And so that's important.
Yes.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. And then another part of it is just like the human biology of fucking growing as a man.
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
Yeah.
we're talking puberty, but we're also just talking like the emotional stress you go through, and then put yourself in not great environments, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
confidence definitely goes a long way.
Absolutely.
And it's a battle every day until you're dead, really. I mean, you deal with confidence, not no matter
Yes.
the age. Like you said, you're still dealing with some stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah. But you know, we're gonna make. I think I'm gonna make it through. I'm making progress. You know, the thing is, especially as you hopefully as you grow older, as you mature as an adult, is that you are able to be perceptive of the things that you need to work on. So as long as you are acknowledging the things that you need to work on, that's the first step. If you're just like, nah, man, fuck that, bro, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Like, nah, man. No, sir.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have some things you got to work on, my brother. You have some things you need to work on, my sister. Like, acknowledge that and take that first step.
Facts. I love it. No,
Mhm.
you're right. You sound like a therapist. You gotta acknowledge it.
That's
You
what
gotta
therapy would say.
acknowledge it. Yeah.
I was like, all right, bro. Damn. All right,
Yeah.
stop reading. Damn.
That's funny. No, I studied psychology too, and I love it. I love like
Oh,
that.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love everything about psychology and
dope,
sociology. But
dope.
cool. I want to talk about the Soul of a Writer, your
Sure,
podcast.
sure.
How did you start that? Why did you start that? And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So at the time, I was looking for like podcasts where they interview Black indie writers and creators, and I couldn't find one.
Mhm.
Like I could not find a podcast on Apple Podcast. And I was like, I'll create it. Fuck it. I'll just create one.
Yeah. Cool.
And so that's the background on that. Like,
Well,
let me create a podcast.
how'd you come up with the name? It's pretty dope. I mean, it's deep too.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a great question, John.
Yeah.
Man. So in high school, when I was 15, writing, there was a literary magazine that I wrote in. I wrote poems. I was doing spoken word, poetry, all types of stuff, bro. Plays.
Spoken word and poetry is my favorite thing. I've been writing since I was
it's amazing.
5 or 7. 5 or 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been writing poetry. I performed in front of like thousands of people. Like poetry,
Wow.
my favorite.
Wow. Yeah. I still have my old, well, you know, the little composition books, not this one specifically, but the old composition books. I was writing raps. I was listening to
Bro, that little composition book is the littlest one I've seen.
that's it's my little daily task.
Little baby.
But you know, back then I was bumping, you know, Immortal Technique, Nas, you know, the Jizza, right? So the literary magazine that I wrote these poems and short stories in, which actually the literary magazine that I wrote the first chapter of the book that I made recently,
that's crazy,
was in a literary magazine called Soul of a Writer. And I was looking for the name of my podcast, and I looked on my bookshelf, and I was like, what can I name this podcast? I was like, it was probably like Black Indie Podcast, something like that.
Nah.
And I still have that literary magazine. I still have this very short little pamphlet from 15 years ago. And I pulled it out and it said Soul of a Writer, or The Soul of a Writer. And I was like, oh, there we go.
That's fire. No, it's fire.
It's a connection.
Hopefully they didn't patent it.
And it's crazy.
Hopefully they didn't patent it.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. It was called The Solo Writer.
Okay. All right, for sure. You need a patent that.
Yeah,
That's nice. Or I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt. I'm gonna take it and put it on a t-shirt before you do. I like it.
Hey, you paid me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's it, because it's Black. I'm interviewing Black independent writers and creators. So soul of a writer.
So,
you know what
bro,
I'm saying?
that's what I'm saying. There's so many like it's a lot in there. It's a lot in there.
Yeah.
Because like even when you're writing, it has to come from the soul. You can't just write. Like the best songs are the ones with emotion in it. The best poems are the ones that are relatable to people. Like you look at what's the like one of the most favorite ones, the fucking dark one. How does it go? Dark ride. It's like in thy night, in thy dark, or you know what I'm talking about?
Invictus?
No, I don't think so. How does that one go?
No, I'm the oh my gosh, see, I'm messing up now. I am the captain of my spirit. I'm the
No, I got it because a rapper G-Eazy had it on the back of his shirt and one of when it damn, now this is gonna be on my mind.
Yeah, this is. I don't know why. I think I know. I might know what you're talking about.
It's like when it's dark. Oh, what is it? Hold on, I know.
Hold on. Now you got me looking up because I'm messing up right now.
Yeah, G-Eazy talked about it though, because his album was based off.
Hold on.
I bet there's other people listening and they're like, oh, it's
right.
This one.
They're like, we know the you know it. What are you talking about? Invictus by William Ernest Henley. I think I know what you're talking about, man. I think I do. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole. I think whatever guides me be from my unconquerable soul. Is that what you're talking about?
Wait, keep going and then keep going. Is that it?
I should know this by heart because I pledged a fraternity in college. And in the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cloud aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody. On this wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade. And yet the minutes of the years finds it shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged or punishments to scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Is that what you're talking about? Because you said something darkness and dark and it comes from the soul.
What's in the light? No, it's not. It's not. Fuck. I'll figure it out.
The listeners are screaming at us right now in the car. Yeah, they're screaming at us like, yo.
Dude, it's a famous.
But yeah, you're right.
You learn it in high school. Oh my God.
I don't know.
This is gonna piss me off. I'm so mad. All right, but whatever. I'll figure it out.
You're gonna find it after we're done recording. You're gonna find it. You're like, damn it, I found it. Yeah. You're gonna send it to me.
Yeah. It's probably not. It's probably not even in the dark. It's probably like something else. It's probably like light or something. I don't know why I'm thinking dark, but anyways.
I mean,
cool.
but you're right. It has to come from the soul. Like that stuff has to come from the soul. You know,
exactly.
It has to come from a place of deep thought, and you have to go into yourself. Even writing the second part of the book, I had to go into some dark parts of myself to even bring that stuff out.
Oh, wait. Speaking of that, have you seen the show, the Netflix thriller? It's literally about what we're talking about. What the fuck? It's shit. Of course I don't know because I don't know anything right now. It just released like 2 weeks ago, and it's called it's about I don't know what it's called. It's about a writer, right? And she's married and they get a babysitter because she's about to write her second book, and it's been like 15 years, right? She's a big time writer. Oh, wow. This book is like a best-selling and she's about to write her second book, and like she like says like, you guys need to be prepared because when I go in a writing mode, I turn into a different person. And it's and she hires this babysitter. I'm not going to give too much away, but then it's like her life intertwines with a fantasy of this babysitter.
Oh, wow.
And it's crazy, bro. Wow. I'm going to send you it because I want you to watch it with your wife and then let me know.
For sure. That sounds deep.
It was like Netflix top 10 yesterday, last week or whatever. So it shouldn't be hard to find. But yeah, writing is super cool. It like takes me into like another world. Like, you know what I mean?
You're right. And it's just, I'm at this weird crossroads where like business, investing, I started up a new business and I'm trying to grow that. I'm like, what about the book you wrote, Royal?
Yeah.
You know, and man, like I can't do things at once. Is
Dude, I
you
get
know,
it.
it's
I
a
get it.
challenge,
I
but
get like that all the time. I like try and do too much and do like right over here. I have this big whiteboard on my wall with like
yeah,
fucking thousands of things on it. And I like continue to add shit, and it's just it gets overwhelming sometimes, you know. I think you froze, Royal. Oh,
You do nothing. You know, I do one.
yeah, very true, very
Yeah,
true. Well, cool. I wanna wrap up and ask you
sure.
our guided conclusion section. So my question for you today is: would you rather write your own story or someone else's? Because I ask this because sometimes, although we think it's better to write our own story, um, sometimes it's hard to get those thoughts across the way like they feel inside. Have you ever had trouble with this?
Yeah, I mean, when you try to write your own story or look into yourself, you have your own bias on yourself. You know
Exactly.
what I
That's
mean?
uh-huh.
Um,
Your
yeah, so
judgment,
it'll
your
be a little
judgment
harder to write.
gets yeah, judgment gets in the way.
Yeah, it gets a little clouded. So, you know, what about this answer? I would rather have someone else write a story about me so I can read it completely objectively, you know, and I can be like, ooh,
Oh,
ooh,
that's
that's great.
interesting.
Ooh, you know,
That makes
I
as a
can
good
look
that
at
makes as a good
a story
movie.
about me.
Yeah. That makes as a good movie. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. You look at yourself like, oh,
Yeah. um,
yeah, yeah,
that's
for
crazy.
sure.
Yeah, I like it. Shit. Well, I appreciate you coming up here. Go ahead and drop all of your social medias and everything. And I found the movie, but I'll tell you after.
Sure. Oh yeah, you tell me after. Yeah, yeah. So my Twitter is Royal Skiggy. So ROYG. I what you can get the book is wordvinepress.com. So word and a vine press.com. Um, yeah, I will really kind of didn't really get into. Well, yeah, you know the show was sponsored by Assurance DNA, which is my company as well. So assurancedna.com as well. But yeah, all my socials, I'm really mainly active on Twitter, Royal Skiggy. You know, that's all you really need to know.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, I appreciate that, man. And yeah, the show is sponsored by Assurance DNA, so you will hear that, and make sure you go get your test kit if you need one. Um,
If you need one, well,
if you need one. Cool. So this is the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. My name is Juwan. I'm sitting here with Royal, and I appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you, Juwan. I really appreciate you having me on. And yeah, looking forward to seeing your growth, man. Looking forward to seeing your growth.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. All right.